Okay, so this is going to be a series. It's more of a crash course on Photoshop. This is for students or graduates or professionals or anyone who wants to learn about Photoshop or has never opened it. So we're going to start right from the beginning. And I've also got a file here, so there'll be a download link in the description below. Where you can download this file and follow along, so you can do exactly what I'm doing. So if you double click on that file, this will open. So let's start with the very basics. If you didn't have this file open, this would just be black. So if we go don't save here, you'll have this kind of layout here. This is where all your opened documents are from sort of historical documents. All you need to do is for a new file, you just go File, New, and it'll give you a whole bunch of options here. So you've got some custom recent activity ones. So these are ones that I've opened recently, and then you've got, so if you wanted to make an A4 page, for example, you could go 210 by 297. You want the resolution to be quite high because you don't want to be working on a low resolution, so 300 is fine. RGB is for the web, CMYK is for print. So just make sure you got one of those. You can change this later on. It's just better to get in a good habit of doing it now. And we could just make the background color white. There's a few more advanced options down here, but you don't need to really worry about those right now. Let's just get you set up with a file and a new page. So we're going to go with, as I work mainly in print, I'm going to choose CMYK. I'm going to 300 pixels, and I'm just going to make an A4 page. So you can also choose the orientation there. So if you wanted it to be, so it's landscape and that's portrait. You click on create and it makes a new file for you. What we're going to do is we're going to open recent and the Photoshop file. So if we scroll down, so as you can see, you've got lots of things here. Sometimes these programs can seem quite overwhelming, but we're going to start right from the very beginning and we're going to work through it step by step. And hopefully this will be easy enough to learn. I think with this kind of program, if you can give it 20 to 30 hours, I know that seems like a lot, but if you actually sat down for an hour, sort of, or 5 hours a week or whatever, you can have a program like this down with the real strong basic understanding of it. So what we have here is the toolbar. So this is where all your tools are being kept. There's all sorts of windows here which we will go over. There's a layers panel here. If this panel isn't open for you, which is one we're just going to look at now, you head up to window and click on layers there, or F7 on your keyboard. So if we shows you there. Let's say we accidentally there's all delete sorts our toolbar here, extra windows that we can choose from. Window, tools. They're all in here, right? So if we start with the bottom layer here, so it's number 1. This is just some notes for me, so I can show you how to make sure I don't miss anything here. So we've just gone over opening a new file and a basic view of a new document window, checking your CMYK or RGB, so RGB and CMYK. So let's say you start designing something and you realize you've got it in RGB and it should be CMYK or the way around. Just go up to Image, Mode, CMYK or RGB. What it'll do is if you change it, I tend not to ask it to flatten, especially if you've got a bunch of layers, because you'll want to keep your layers. And then you just click OK, and then don't rasterize, and it will keep all your layers as you want it. It takes a couple of minutes, but that's how you do it. So I've heard people in the past say that they've been told that they need to delete the file and start again. Please don't do that. You don't need to delete your file. It's okay. You can just switch him. The colors will change slightly, but that's why it's good practice to That's why it's good practice to make sure that you check the settings early in the setup. Check the document size, so it's up here, image. So you've got an image size, so canvas size is what you want to look at here. So we can see this is a 20 centimeter by 20 centimeter square. The image size and the canvas size are different. So we can change the size of the image within the document with image size. And we can change the canvas size, which is the actual canvas you work on. There's a whole drop down menu here. So if you want to do it in millimeters or pixels or even percentage, so if you need to up it by 340% or whatever and you can't be asked doing the maths, you can just up it by 340%. So the next thing is rulers and adding a bleed. So with rulers and bleed, because I work in print, I end up having to use bleed a lot, and I also like to have these rulers here so I can see 0 here, and so you can see this is a 20 centimeter document here by 20 centimeters. If this isn't there and you'd like to see it, you just go to view and then rulers, it turns it off, and then rulers, turns it back on. If you want to add a bleed, let's say you can drag from the edge here, so if you click and hold with the edge, it will turn into this sort of purple line, and you can see the actual arrows turn into a different shape, and that'll snap on, so you can see 0 and 0, and you can either do it manually here, so you can go like a 0.5 centimeter bleed, so you can do it by hand like that, or you can go view, new guide layout, and let's say you want exactly 5mm bleed. You can go, in the margins, not the rows. Let's say you want 0.5. And you can see that's coming up there as 0.5 centimeter bleed. So that's a bit more of an accurate way, and you can preview it on and off. Okay, so you can add in a bleed when needed. You can also lock these guides, so you can't move them, so they can't be selected. So if you unlock them, you can see the availability to move them again, or you can just clear them, which gets rid of them. One of the main things that I get asked, because I'm a studio trainer as well, one of the main things that I get asked is, something's wrong with Photoshop, all my layers are gone. So quick tip, if things disappear like so, or even worse, here you go, oh my god, or everything's disappeared, it's almost always you've just clicked tab or F, or both probably. So if you've accidentally clicked tab and all your windows are gone and all your toolbars disappeared and everything, and you're having a panic, it's okay. You've not broken anything. It's just tab and F. So take a minute to just click tab and F so you can see what it is. You can see what's happening. So when in doubt, try tab or F first. I think I answer that at least twice a week. So, toolbar. Here's your toolbar. We will be going over all the different tools, or at least the main ones that I use. There is a lot of tools here. Some of them you recognize, like you probably recognize a magnifying glass as an icon, a move tool and things like that, and brushes and things like that. We will be going over those, but this is just for the introduction. The layer panel here is where all the layers are kept. You can turn a layer on and off with this little eye icon here. You can move these layers one on top of each other like so. If you just click and drag, and you can see the line moves. If you'd like to create a new layer, here's a button down there. It creates new layers. If you'd like to put them in a group, if you just hold down Shift and click these layers, or if you have them on different layers, different levels, say you want this one and that one, but you don't want the middle two, you you just hold down Command or Control, depending on whether you're on a PC or a Mac, and you click on the folder button, and that puts them into a folder for you. And then you can turn them on and off, the entire folder or the individual layers themselves. When you go to delete a layer, so let's say you choose those two, click on the little trash can button. It'll ask you whether you want to delete the layers. Personally, I never click this. I always want to be told that I'm deleting a layer. I see why people like it, but I personally like to keep that on. So yes to delete those. Or if you want to delete this layer here, so we've put these two layers in a folder, this is different. It'll ask you to delete whether you want to delete just this folder or the group and its contents. So for now we're just going to delete the group and delete that one. And then let's say we've deleted that layer and we wanted to get it back. Undo is Command or Control Z. And then redo is Command and Shift Z. So as a basic overview, and we will move on to number 2.